back again. We are here to play Ron Edwards' Sorcerer. We've had a session 0 and 2 sessions playing with our sorcerers and demons that were created, and so this will be session 3. We're playing the game as part of the Gauntlet, which is an online role-playing game community that keeps an active calendar and also has lots of other things going on. It has some podcasts that go on, and it has a monthly magazine called Codex. So if you're watching this and this kind of a community seems interesting to you, you can go to gauntlet-rpg.com and you'll get to the website there, and you can see the various things that are going on. I also will mention that Ron Edwards, who wrote Sorcerer, keeps an active website with a small community at adeptplay.com. That's also where, if you were interested in getting a PDF copy of Sorcerer, you can get a copy over at Adept Play. I want to just quickly, on our character keeper, go over to the lines and veils, just to remind us of some of our safety tools. So as always, the X card is available. So if the game is kind of going into territory or has taken a move that for whatever reason is making you feel uncomfortable, or you just kind of know that this would not be a good direction for you, you can say X card, type in X card, or put your arms in front of you in the form of an X, and we'll immediately stop, take a couple steps backwards, and go into a different direction. We also are using lines and veils, and currently we have a line up for sexual assault, and since it's a line, it means that will not be a topic that comes up in the game. And we have some veils on torture or violence to children or animals. So with those being veiled, they might be mentioned in the course of the game, but if so, they will be relegated to kind of off stage, or we'll do kind of a fade to black or something of that sort to kind of not go into any kind of detailed imagery or anything like that with respect to those. And as always, lines and veils, that's kind of a living list. So it's perfectly fine at any point during the course of the game. If you'd like to add a line or a veil, you can do so. And then finally, our one last safety tool is the open table, which means that if at any point in the course of the game you need to leave, that is perfectly fine. It's if you have the opportunity to kind of let us know if it's going to be temporary or if you're going to be out for the rest of the evening, that's great. But if you just need to leave and don't have time to do that, that's fine as well. Just give me one quick second here. My daughter has a question for me. I'm going to field.
So, Greg, having just watched the last episode, what would you say the highlight was? What was your favorite part?
I liked possessing the cab driver.
Yeah, I thought that was fun.
Uber driver.
Right.
A lot of just the interaction between Zip and Taylor was fun too, like that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
I can't wait to see how you roll your character into all this.
I did like the uncertainty of like with Zip using Confuse, whether he was going to use that on the
Oh,
Uber
yeah.
driver.
Yes.
All right, so you know, and also you know, as part of the Gauntlet, we are using the Gauntlet's community code of conduct, and I have a link for that up on the Character Keeper, and also it's on the Gauntlet RPG website as well. All right, so with that out of the way, let me just see. First of all, are there any questions that people have at this point?
I'm good.
Okay. You know, if not, then let's get caught up a little bit on Jackson Nelson. And yeah, actually, maybe before we do that, let's just do a quick kind of work around the table. If you want to do a kind of quick introduction to yourself, and just a very quick introduction to your character and what is currently transpiring with them. And then, you know, maybe we'll do this in reverse Character Keeper order, because then that will end with Greg if we do it in reverse Character Keeper order, and we can then kind of immediately kind of dive into what Jackson is doing. So Nicholas, you want to start us off?
Hi, I'm Nicholas. Pronouns he, him. I am playing Zip, whose pronouns are he, him. Zip is a member of a prosperity, positive thinking group or collective. Mechanically, it is a coven. As far as Zip knows, it is not a cult. Last session, Zip was had self-possessed a demon within himself, and he, for the first time, has given that up, having cast the demon or allowing the demon to possess a Uber driver. And so I've been pondering, what does that mean to Zip? Does that mean that he is no longer embodied by prosperous favor? Obviously it does. I don't know that he likes that. So that's Zip in a nutshell.
Okay. And Stephen?
Hey there, I'm Steven, he, him, and I am playing Taylor, or at Smart Not Swift. I'm a Twitter personality. I have sprung, well, let's say a clever trap on Zip by breaking into his office and crashing out from my demon-induced visions. And yeah, I think I think we have just gone off together to I guess pull off an exorcism, I guess, is what it is.
Okay. And Greg?
My name is Greg Fulford. Pronouns are he, him. I am playing Jackson Nelson, a young gay man who's been living as a hustler and discovered how to bind a demon to himself, and has used his powers to set himself up with a wealthy lover in South Beach. And his lover has now sort of fallen into this kind of unexpected real estate deal, and pretty sure there is something sinister going on here. So have to deal with that.
Right. And I think that when we last saw Jackson, we have, it's James Wallace is the name of your wealthy lover, who had kind of apparently signed a a real estate deal that just kind of fell into his lap. He's now the owner of the Pink Flamingos, which is actually the Pink Flame Ingots. And you all had kind of celebrated that. James seemed to be a little not quite himself. I mean, he just seemed a little, I don't know, tipsy or you know, somehow didn't seem to have his full faculties, but he was, you know, he was happy about this deal that had been struck, and the two of you had, you know, celebrated that evening after the deal was signed. But then I believe the next morning, you know, James was still kind of feeling very, very tired and in need of rest. And we should also mention that when he returned, he seemed to have quite, you know, some lacerations on his hand, right? That you had Jackson had helped to tend
he
to.
claimed were paper cuts, and they are not.
Yeah. You don't know. Jackson doesn't know the full story of that, but yeah, it does seem like they were more significant than your kind of typical, you know, everyday paper cut. And then I think that you had made your way the next day. You had left James behind, I believe, because he was still in need of rest. But you had made your way down to Pink Flamingos to check things out.
Yep.
And I think you had done some snooping, right?
Yeah, a little snooping. I don't recall details exactly on what I found. Nothing actionable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what would you, you know, after, you know, I think that, let me just see here in my notes that, I mean, I think you had found a few things out that, well, I think you do know that this contract that James had signed, it did have a clause for a first right of refusal little clause. So he's the owner, but there's a first right of refusal that is given to somebody with the last name of Gilchrist. And I think, and this was also, I think, from James, that he also said that on the contract that he has to continue with the current management for at least 12 months. But he was happy about that because, like, he you know, this kind of deal strangely just kind of, you know, fell into his lap. It seemed like a booming business, and and you know, he doesn't really know about how to run a club. So, you know, and the fact that the current management, from whatever he could tell, you know, it seemed to be going pretty well. So he was kind of happy about that. So Jackson is at the Pink Flamingos. It's you know, it's not really club time right now, right? I mean, it's mainly workers in there who are kind of tidying up and cleaning and kind of preparing things for the upcoming evening. So what would Jackson like to do at this point? What is his impression of the Pink Flamingos, by the way? I mean, you know, what kind of reaction does he have to the club, especially like now that oh, my camera went off. What happened here?
We can hear you.
You can hear me, but my All right. Well, I'll continue on with this. It may take some type of reset, maybe during the break, but you can hear me. That's, I think, the more important thing. But yeah, so he's there in the Pink Flamingos. He hasn't really been noticed by anybody, and James Wallace is the owner of this place.
Luckily, they don't know I'm connected to him yet.
Mhm.
So, yeah, my goal is definitely to snoop on this management, because I figure that they've got something to do with the weirdness inherent in this. So, try to figure out who's in management or how I can get to them.
Yeah.
And basically, kind of like sneak in the back rooms if possible and observe what they're up to.
Yeah.
Given that my demon has the cloak ability, I feel fairly confident I can
Do you
wherever I like.
recall did you use the cloak ability when you had gone in there? Had that been done yet, or?
Pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah,
Because I didn't just walk in the front door,
right,
at least not unshielded. So
right. Okay, so I would say that if you're kind of trying to overhear kind of conversations, I think what you would pick up on is that it's easy to spot who the upper level managers are. I mean,
okay,
that they have like they have uniforms, and so like the ones with the most spiffy outfits, the upper managers have some extra bit of kind of formal pizzazz to their dress. Maybe like they wear a kind of neon pink sport coat, right?
it's Miami.
They seem happy. They you would catch things like the deal was signed yesterday. We won't be bothered by the new owner.
Suddenly recalled the big thing I had learned, which is that they had taken care of the previous owner.
Yes. Yeah, that the previous owner had been taken care of, and they're happy with the new owner because the new owner isn't gonna, rock the boat, right? That he doesn't seem to, be the kind of person who would interfere.
Yeah, so Jackson is still feeling like he's not really getting the information he needs, so gonna stick himself to the highest ranking person he can find and just shadow them.
Okay.
Looking for, clues to, I mean, they sound like, normal club management who are sort of sinister, but no evidence of anything supernatural going on, which I'm pretty sure there is.
All right. Let's for this. So, I mean, it's been established, and I do seem, I think that you did roll the cloak, and so that will be continue to be enforced, that you're, at least for this scene, right? you don't really seem to be noticed. That cloak seems to be working well. I do think though that in terms of like getting some additional kind of information from this manager, why don't we do a wheel roll, and a couple things here. This is going to be a kind of perception thing, and you do have a -1 to perception, so your will is 3. You're going to get a -1 to that, but you do also have that boost ability that goes to your will if you want to use that, right? So that would give your demon's power of 5 to your will if you wanted to use that.
Yeah, I was just looking at the ability to see, can I take part of it? Nope. It's either on or it's off.
Yeah.
So he'll take some care to be not standing in a, obvious position, since when he uses the boost, the cloak's going to drop at least most of the way. So, but he will use boost to try and figure out what's going on.
I don't think the cloak has to drop when you, let's see.
The power of it drops to 1.
Oh, yes. Okay. Oh, that's right. Yes. So you're right. Yeah, that's a smart move. I think you're gonna like, but you're really trying to kind of see what you can pick up from this guy. All right, so that's fair. So you're going to be rolling a total of 7 dice, and I'm going to roll my side. I'm going to be rolling 4. And you have the roll for your party link.
Yep.
Okay.
Fairly decent roll.
Yeah, and I was typically rolling clear, so we'll see what happens here. I mean, it actually becomes kind of interesting, right?
Yeah, we tied on our 2 highest.
On the 2 highest, but yeah, so those get kind of put aside, but you still have 3 victories.
3 victories. Wow.
All right, so one thing that you are able to pick up, this manager that you're really trying to tail is trying to keep this discreet, but you do see that he has some in these he keeps it like in his like coat pocket, that he has a little supply of some neon pink pills, and occasionally another manager will come by and say, just give him a number, and he'll very kind of quickly, discreetly kind of pass the pills to the other manager. Has like little what are they called? They're not pill bottles, but kind of little containers that they get kind of put in. And so you'll see that there seems to be some, and it seems like it's illicit, right? I mean, it's very clear that when this kind of transaction is happening, you see it happen a couple times, that the 2 of them kind of go off and can do this quickly and in a way that they clearly do not want other people to be seeing what's taking place. I think it's also fair that you would hear this manager occasionally mention the name Gilchrist. Like Gilchrist is happy with the way things are going, right?
Yep. So definitely going to try and get my hands on some of those pills. I think my plan is to get some and then get out of there as fast as possible.
Okay. Why don't we kind of cut away right now, and we'll come back to that. So we've got over at the Icy and Spicy, we have Zip and hashtag Smart Not Swift. Zip had kind of smoothed things out with respect to Taylor, right? That Taylor had kind of made a scene the previous day, but the managers all kind of know at the Icy and Spicy that and Zip is now part owner of the Icy and Spicy, right? You have your name on the contract as well. So
yeah.
Yeah. So just in terms of contacting a demon, your best bet is to kind of make it a ritual, which means anywhere from a half hour to 3 hours to do this. You can do it like on the spur of the moment, but then that kind of always reduces your lore to a single die. There are you can do group sorcery so that you can have, like, if another sorcerer or other sorcerers want to participate, that they can kind of do a roll, and if they get victories, that can be rolled into your roll as well. Of course, you can also pick up I'm going to ask you to describe the ritual, and with a good description of it, that might earn some bonus. And then there is also the idea of boosting it. Now that the book talks about taking some type of hallucinogen to kind of boost your lore roll. I was wondering whether, let me just with your demon, looking at its abilities. Yeah, I mean, I was, I was just thinking, like, with our particular theme and kind of our characters, whether there would be some type of alternate, to the hallucinogens that would make sense.
Yeah, I think like before session 0, and I was thinking about that same thing. You had said like neon was a form of demonic influence, and it was like one other thing.
Yeah, fashion,
fashion, yeah.
Yeah.
So I was kind of racking my brain on how to tie those things in, because they were definitely foundational in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we found our way back to the same private room that I was in before, that has the smoke, and the kind of glass table was something that we described. So I do think we have time to do it ritual style, as opposed to like spur of the moment out in the main public area. And I think I'm gonna turn to Taylor and say, so, do you know how to contact spirits?
I think that I have. I guess there is some stuff from like Sexy Sorcerer 696, but I think that that's more of his. I don't actually think any of the rituals he describes are actually necessary.
Okay. I have a ritual that I performed actually just the other day while reviewing a contract. And I think that it could be used instead of like learning the essence of a contract. I think it could be used in trying to contact spiritual forces. So we'll try that.
Yeah, and you have, you have your demon kind of quote,
yeah,
around the neck of this Uber driver. We should give him a name.
The Uber driver?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. As opposed to generic Uber driver?
Hubert driver.
I like Hubert.
Hubert. Yeah. Yeah, so we'll have Hubert is there. I imagine he has kind of like, you're having this conversation and he has kind of a vacant stare, perhaps like he has like one hand up touching this gold necklace, but is clearly, just kind of waiting there and, as I say, doesn't seem to really kind of tune in himself, at least, to what this discussion is about.
Right. And so I think Taylor, this is going to seem weird, but I'm going to talk to the necklace just a second. And I turn to Hubert and I say, prosperous favor, I need your help. A spirit is strong here, and we need to contact it to learn more about what's going on. What do you know about contacting?
Well, so this is now Hubert talking, but the voice does not sound like Hubert's voice.
Right.
Right. I mean, I imagine prosperous favors like voice always sounds really upbeat.
I want it to be like kind of wind-like, a little bit wispy, and yeah, totally just like in positive vibe land.
So what do I know about contacting another spirit? Well, I know you've got to be positive about it. I mean,
of course. That makes all the sense.
I mean, you just gotta will it, right? You've gotta just So
it is just like that other ritual that I did. You gotta get the right environment going. You gotta like just imbue the energy of the room and really just see that spirit so that you can talk to that spirit, know that it's here.
Yeah. Get the energy flowing, get the mojo moving.
Taylor, we're gonna need music. We've already got the fog machines going. We're gonna need drinks. let's load this place up. We got to get those positive vibes flowing in order to contact whatever's happening here.
I mean, yeah, I think that in that case, Taylor is going to open up their iPhone and mark and like just plug it into whatever music deck this place has, because of course Taylor has the best taste in music.
Oh, yes.
And are you still planning to do the ritual in that private room, or are you gonna kind of pull this out and do it in a more?
I mean, if we really wanted to like get a proper, mood, we can't just do it in the back room.
This is like the opposite of positive vibes. We need to take over the dance hall.
Exactly.
Why are we here? Let's go to the dance hall.
Okay. And you are the owner, so you
Right.
you don't have if you're telling the management to what something that you want to have done, they'll basically hop to it.
Get the lights hooked up, get them hooked up to that phone. We need the lighting, the fog machines, the sound, putting it all through a test. It'll take about an hour. And
get as many influencers here as possible, because you can't have positive energy without influencers.
Mm-hmm.
I want the staff here. This is a training opportunity.
Okay, so it's a little early, right? I mean, I think we had established that it's a little early, but the
3 drinks minimum per staff member. I don't care that it's noon.
All right, so you've got this going on. All right, so I think that with this, and let me ask, is Taylor, are you going to do this as a group sorcery thing?
I mean, yeah, I think that's what we're doing. Yeah.
All right. Because I think with this, positive energy thing that's kind of going on, I feel like there are 2 roles that could then be potentially rolled into the culminating role. Okay. And the way that group, I should mention that, when you do group sorcery, you name one person as the lead sorcerer, and that person, if it is successful, there is a humanity check, and the lead sorcerer, has to kind of do that humanity check. The assisting sorcerer, even if they fail to kind of do any whatever happens as a result of their role, they don't have to suffer the humanity check. But I feel like the way I want to do this is that which one of you would you say is more in the lead in terms of I guess I would say the production, the kind of getting this vibe going in the club? Which one of you would you say is more in charge of that?
Here's my thought on that is Zip grabs the mic as soon as he can and he starts psyching himself up to do a speech, do whatever motions are required, and he's just going to go with the flow of the moment and say whatever the right things are that occur to him in the moment, and really expecting that Taylor has the music, the fog machine, the lights, everything kind of supporting the set. Mm-hmm. Is that what you're thinking as well?
Yeah, I was kind of thinking that I wasn't going to trust you with setting the mood. You can do the ritual. I'm not trusting this, I don't know, what is he, 60 years old guy?
Yeah, and once you start playing the beat, you can see there's a little bit of a resistance for a moment, and then it's okay, I can get into this.
All right. And Taylor, are you calling in some of your followers to come?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and of course, I am reaching out to any influencers in my sister net in my my network of sister Twitter personalities
Okay.
and sites to really amp up this event and get the mood right.
Okay. So I'm going to have you roll. I mean, it would either be, I feel like, I mean, it could be either the will or the cover. They're both the same value.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give you a bonus die to add to that roll. I like the way all of this is going. And I think for the opposed roll, you know, the management's maybe a little confused about this, but I'm not going to make it a super difficult opposed roll. I'm going to roll 3 die in opposition. So that'll be 3 die versus your 6 for kind of getting the mood going. And we'll go on and clear all of those out first. Yeah. And I'm going to roll 3. I rolled very poorly. 3, 2, 1.
Oh, right. Then let me. Could you put the roll into the thread here?
Yeah. Give me 1 second. I work off 2 computers, so I didn't have that. All right.
All right. Thank you.
I just posted it as well.
Okay.
Okay. And so I'm rolling with 6 dice then. Oh, okay. Okay, and that is 5 successes.
Yeah, and it was there is also like if that 1 had been higher than a 3, then that would be like there is like that's like an absolute booming success. But still, you've got you've got the club as early as it is. I mean, it is hopping, and you've got people on the dance floor. People outside can't understand, like, what is going on at the Icy and Spicy at this hour, right? That things are rolling along. Okay, so that gives you 5, and you can now use that 5 to roll. So Taylor is now going to do a roll, and this is going to be. This gets a little unusual. I'm going to actually have 2 rolls with 2 different colors going on. So you roll with your lore.
Oh, am I not? I thought I was setting up for Zip to do the actual ritual.
Okay. Do you want to participate in the actual ritual, or do you want to just?
Oh, yeah, I am. Okay, sorry. I wasn't sure what was happening. Okay.
But yeah, if you wanted to like participate in the actual ritual, then you'll roll your lore plus the 5 bonus dice, and I've got to get my guys here. Let's see, and I'm going to do 2 rolls with some different colors. One of them is going to be 3, and the other one is going to be 4. And your lore is what?
My lore is
3.
Yeah.
Okay, so you'll roll a total of 8.
Okay. Okay, and that is so 8 was your highest?
Correct. So you have
Four.
four victories. Yeah. And so
I just
Nicholas,
go into that spaced out fugue state I was in last time. When I tried to do that hit vision. I'm a little bit spaced out now, and like shouting random mystical words into the mic.
and Zip, you know, things are really, you can feel the positive energy flowing, right? You know, Hubert is standing next to you, not standing, he's dancing next to you, right?
Yep.
I mean, he's up there on the stage and kind of yelling at the crowd to kind of get them, you know, excited. And what do you speak to the crowd?
I do. And I don't know the exact words, but the gist of the words that I'm speaking is that we've gathered here for positivity, to reach out and see if we can contact a higher power and hear its voice. Raise your hands with me. It's got a little bit of like a Southern Baptist vibe to it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's basically the ritual that I'm going for, is trying to channel everyone's positive energy to reach out and contact this spirit.
Okay. And don't clear the roll for your party, but let's you'll add so just roll a different color. You're gonna add, it's gonna be your lore +4, plus I'll roll in another kind of bonus die just because I like I like the whole scene here.
So
Okay.
that is 5 + 4, that's 9.
Okay.
So just add 9 dice to the rules that already occurred?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
And just choose a different color than what's up
Yep,
there.
I've got orange.
Okay.
Okay.
Got to figure this out. Okay, so the contact is going to be successful, and a curious thing happens here, which is that your contact, you definitely pick up on the fact that there are actually 2 spirits that you have contacted.
And so, like, I tell the crowd that I can feel the presence. I feel 2 higher powers. Would the first spirit speak its name? And wait to hear anything over the PA system.
You don't hear anything over the PA system, but you see, and Taylor, you see as well, a kind of green neon light that is well, it's kind of flickering over. What would it be kind of let's just say over the main door, but on the inside, right? You know, you're on the inside, and you see kind of over the main door this kind of flickering neon green light. So that's one. And the other spirit you kind of notice a kind of set of papers sitting just kind of on the corner of one of the bars, and you kind of definitely pick up this. You wouldn't be able to hear the rustle, but you see these papers kind of moving over there.
I wander over to Taylor and say, well, they're not really playing the game. They're not communicating. What do you think?
I kind of feel the paper, taste the paper.
Yes.
Okay, so you're going to walk over to the rustling papers on the on the bar. Okay, so when you get over there on the top, you see contract, except it's spelled like Kontrakt.
It's a German contract. Sorry.
And if you kind of pick it up, you kind of sense that it's there's a kind of warmth to it.
What did we say the Uber driver's name was?
Hubert or Hubert?
Hubert, that's right.
Yeah. I think it would also make sense that with Taylor now kind of holding those papers, that kind of flickering neon green light does kind of make its way over to where Taylor is right now.
And does it look like anyone else sees this? Do I see eyes looking at this flickering light, or do I see them being oblivious?
I think that they seem to be oblivious. I would say that my sense is that there are a lot of like neon lights going off right now. So, you know, I think it would be probably easy to kind of you know, just think that, oh, that's just part of the kind of neon light show that normally goes on at the Icy and Spicy when it gets really hopping.
I hand the mic to Hubert and say, keep the crowd going, and then wander over to where Taylor is to deal with this situation.
Okay.
So wait, where are we then?
Well, you're at a bar now. Like it's kind of near the, you know, kind of big main dance area, but yeah, this bar that's there is where the papers were.
So not center stage anymore. Kind of
No.
had to come down off of stage and approach a bar. Do I recognize these papers? Does it look like the contract that I signed? Does it feel like the contract that I signed? Because I did get that radiating spirit, supernatural.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it is kind of clear that if you touch the papers, they have a kind of strange warmth to them. You know, it is also the case, right? You have that word contract. That word, you know, the ink seems to move a little bit, right? It doesn't like seem like, you know, actual print ink. that there's a kind of movement going on with the ink on the paper.
And so I do tell Taylor that I think this is the same or similar to the contract that I signed. I feel the same sort of warmth radiating off of it. I felt some sort of supernatural essence. The words are different, but you can see that they're shifting.
Yeah, and when you say this, the word contract reforms and becomes the word yes. Like when you're saying, oh, this seems to be, right, the same kind of paper, the same kind of feeling, right?
What is your name? I say to the paper.
And it goes back to contract.
Contract. Its name is Contract. And who has bound you? Who do you serve?
Let me get the name here. The name. All my notes. 1 second. So it says Gilcrest and Vixa. So Gilcrest and Vixa.
Gilcrest. Oh, that was the Miss Magic that you were talking about, Taylor.
She's retweeting the souls of those who signed the contract. I'm still a little bit summoning high.
Oh. Like, oh my God, I signed one of those. Where do you see that? How do I stop it?
I think if we were to if you were to bind the demon yourself, whatever power you gave over to her, you'd be pouncing her followers.
All right. So, what Zip hears is he must like bind this to himself. The one supernatural avenue that he's really aware of is consumption through eating. So I would like the binding ritual to consist of Zip taking massive bites out of this contract and ingesting them.
Okay. Let's I think this might be a good and I should say with the successful contact, you have roughly an hour. If you want to, continue on a conversation with it, you can, have roughly an hour of conversation. And also we will need to do that humanity roll.
Yes.
So do you want to do that now and then we'll take the break?
I think that's good, yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and clear it. And so you're going to roll your humanity versus this demon's power. And this demon's power is 4. So it's going to have 4 dice versus your humanity.
Well, not great.
So you lose 1 humanity.
Okay.
Perhaps like the idea being that this is not like the prosperity demon that you were used to. This seems to be a different kind of.
Yeah, I think 2 things are weighing on me. One is and it's not related to this, but maybe it's just starting to like really sink in. I am not embodied by prosperity anymore. Prosperity is over there with the Uber driver, and that is disturbing. And two, yeah, these forces are nothing like prosperous favor, which I've been dealing with. It's all a little darker and scarier.
Mhm. Yeah. All right. So it's coming up on 5 after. Why don't we maybe take about 10 minutes and we'll come back at a quarter past the hour. So I think I want to go to Jackson quickly first and kind of get caught up on what's going on with him. I did look in terms of binding a demon. This demon is currently bound to somebody else. And so in order to bind it yourself, you would have to work out a way to get it to rebel or otherwise not be bound to who it is currently bound to. Okay. Oh, I don't hear your.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Great. So that gives me a few minutes to ponder that while you work with Jackson.
Now, banishing is different. I mean, you can banish a demon that's bound to somebody else if you want to do that. And then
And I can
also
banish it, like when I banish a demon that's bound to someone else, that banishes it not just from my presence, but like from the person that they're bound to as well.
yes,
Yeah, nice. Maybe that's the.
yeah. That would probably in most cases irritate that person. But
Right.
yeah.
I would imagine so.
Yeah. And there is also the contain option as well, right? You can kind of contain the demon. All right, so but you have some things to think about there. And so Jackson, what are you up to? What would you like to do at this point?
So the plan that has formed in my head is to steal some of those pills, see if I can figure out any more details about them, and assuming they are as illegal as I think they are, let the cops know about it.
Okay.
And see what happens.
All right. So tell me how you want to go about stealing these. You have this manager who he seems to have these kind of his interior coat pockets that he kind of seems to be keeping a little supply there. And then as I say, you've seen a couple of times when somebody else kind of comes up with him, makes a signal, kind of gives him a number, and he has these little pill pods that he kind of gives to them.
I'm just going to steal them straight from him because 1 or 2 will not be enough.
Okay. So I mean, there are options as to how you would do this. I mean, you could try to take him by physical force from him if you wanted to do a physical confrontation, or some type of if you have some idea about like a pickpocket or something like that. But how would you want to arrange this? You're boy. I look at your picture. I mean, you you wanted to like physically take. You're no Zip, like Zip with his
Right.
one stem.
Yes.
Jackson has a little.
I like that I got to choose natural vigor for the reason that I have 1 stamina.
Yeah, literally just get as close to him as I can, cloaked, and then maybe like pull open his jacket and just reach right in. I think.
And you also have that confuse ability as well for your demon.
Yep.
And that would, if you were wanting to use that potentially.
You know, that's probably even better. Yep. Confuse him first, and then.
I mean, that
grab.
kind of, right. If it's successful, you match the demon's power against the target's will to force target to lose his or her next actions. Right. I mean, so you know, they would be at least temporarily. It's not a lengthy thing, but at least temporarily, they kind of are out of commission in terms of what they can do.
Yep. So throw off a confuse and then grab and run.
Okay. And I got my phone ringing. I apologize. Okay. So where would you want to pull this off? Are you going to look for like some, you know, tough moment when he's going off to by himself somewhere?
Not so great at like planning. I just thought of this and I'm going to do it. Like right in his office or whatever, you know.
Uh-huh. Okay. I've got my Seminole County Public Schools is giving me information about my kids. It's my school district has a kind of very good robocall system, but you know, it's like every little tidbit they, you know, kind of give you these calls that come in. Strange hours too. It's like 9:30 at night. They call. All right, so so you get him, you know, in his office, and I think it would be appropriate, yeah, if you say you wait till he's in his office, you see him, you know, unlocking a desk drawer, and he's getting some more pills out of that desk drawer as well.
Yes. More pills for me.
Is that when you want to like pop into action then? Is like,
oh, totally.
Okay.
Yep. As soon as he unlocks that drawer and I see those, I'm like, that's it. Just
okay. So
zap him and
yeah. So I'm just going to give him his kind of average score kind of down the line. So he'll have a 3 on the stamina, then on the will, but he's going to have a 3 will. And this is with your demon's power, which is a 5.
Yep.
And we'll go on and clear these things, and I'll roll 3.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, so you have 3 successes there, and so describe what happens. So you know, the confuse goes off. You know, I imagine that this manager, he's like sitting there, he's just kind of opened the drawer, and he gets hit with the confuse. And you see him kind of just looking up at the ceiling, and kind of in a daze, like confused about what exactly, you know, it's like maybe he says something like, well, you know, how many of these am I supposed to get? And what does Jackson do? Are you gonna like reach in and pull a
Yeah, literally reach in, grab many handfuls as I can, stuff them in my pockets, and get out of there as fast as I can.
Okay. Yeah, and since the confuse is successful, I mean, it won't take you long to do that. He has the drawer open. He's confused. You do that. You get out the the door. And are you going to then try to vacate the premises then, or are you going to still hang around?
Yes.
Okay.
Nope. Leaving.
Okay. So I would say that, as you kind of are getting to the exit, you do hear kind of shouts behind you. You hear that manager's voice calling in, you hear some names of other people presumably working there, say, oh, we've got a thief among us, and right. But you will not have any trouble kind of making your way out of the premises. And after that, what would you do? I'd say you probably have a couple dozen of these pink pills.
Yeah, I think first thing I'm going to do is go home and check on James and squirrel away at least most of the pills.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe keep like one or two on me. My plan is to later go out, go hang out with my club friends and see what they can tell me about these pills.
Okay. And, I'll say that when you get back to James, he's kind of back to himself, except he seems a little upset. I mean, he does say, I signed this kind of ownership contract, but I don't know. I don't think I was really in my right frame of mind. I mean, clearly he says, I think I was drugged or doped up or something like that when I signed that contract. And I tell you, I know it sounds crazy, but this big cut, these cuts I have on my hand, I could swear that, I remember like this kind of pile of papers that I was signing. It was almost like it almost seems like a nightmare, but it was like that those papers were moving at some point and were kind of slicing into me. Sounds nuts, yeah, but it was, I don't know. I mean, it's probably, I don't know, maybe it was just a nightmare that I had last night, but yeah, I don't know what I was doing. I mean, like, and why would I have, like, they said, oh, I have first right of refusal, right? I was listed as having first right of refusal on this kind of deal for the Pink Flamingos. What's that about? I had no idea right about this club. Why would my name be there? Doesn't make sense.
Well, those are good questions. I don't know. I mean, you said that those cuts were paper cuts, but I mean, look at it. So, I mean, I don't really believe that. I mean, it sounds like a nightmare that you had with that. The contract actually, like doing the cutting, that's really weird. But I don't know. Pink Flamingos, it's a decent business. So maybe there's not a whole lot to be worried about getting into it, and totally just trying to calm him down. And I totally have suspicions and I'm going to do something about it, but you just sit back and relax while just enjoy your new club.
Yeah, and I think if you know if Jackson's trying to kind of allay his fears, I think
He's very good at it.
yeah,
So-
yeah, I suspect he is, and I think James. I mean, you see James relax a little bit, but you also know that he's still thinking about it, right? I mean, you can see
well,
that he's trying to smile, trying to say, okay, yeah, you're probably right. You know, and it does seem like you know a business is pulling in some money, so yeah, just hopefully the managers just continue on with what they're doing. I mean, they you know gets good reviews. I know that I occasionally have driven by, never really gave it much thought, but it always seemed to be at night, seemed to do pretty good business.
yeah, it's not really my kind of place, but seems popular enough. So,
All right, so yeah, so James is uh trying his best to kind of put his uncertainty to rest, at least temporarily. uh and so Zip, what is going on with you? We should also I should remind you, right, that there is that kind of strange kind of neon cloud that's overhead while you're having this conversation of sorts with Kontrakt.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to keep talking to the contract for a few minutes. And so the first thing I'm going to say is, so what happens when we sign you as a contract? Do you exert some sort of power over us?
Yeah, and right. So all this communication is happening with this kind of strange ink that's kind of flowing on the
Yeah,
paper. Um, and
and I know it doesn't have to tell the truth, right? So this is just, what does
right,
it want to tell me?
yeah. Your contract says um, I'm I'm good at what I do. I'm very persuasive.
Oh man, that's like, that is like the core of Zip, right? That is like his strength is being persuasive. And so he smiles at that, and says, and what's with your neon friend over up there?
And so Contract writes out, that is, in quotation marks, me, me.
And does me also serve ITZ or ITT?
ITT.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, we are both partners.
Tell me, what do you crave the most? I think that we have the same core needs. I think that you and I were born for each other. I also live to persuade.
Um,
How is a TT treating you?
okay, so Contract says she's all right. Um, says, I agree though, that we are kindred spirits. And says, you know, you gave a impressive demonstration of your persuasive power just now, working up that crowd.
Thank you. There's no possibility for us to be together, is there?
What would Kontrakt say? All right, so Kontrakt would say, you've got to stay positive. There are always possibilities.
Oh man, there always are. You're so right. We should work as one. Now, so Zip has convinced himself that this contract is just the best thing since sliced bread. And now I need to figure out what the right mechanical thing to do is to, like, because I can't bind something that already has a sorcerer that it's bound to, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can break the binding, the most. Okay. So actually, Kontrakt would have to break the binding in order for Zip to have a binding with the contract. Did I read that correctly?
Yeah. I mean, but I mean, I was thinking, well, you could perhaps kind of right, and the reason why a demon would want to break a binding would be that it would become unsatisfied, you know, unsatisfied with the sorcerer.
Yeah. I would like to try to persuade Kontrakt that its current relationship is not meeting its needs, and that I, Zip, am a much better sorcerer, and I will work with you to break your binding so that we can be bound.
Okay. And you had asked, I think you had asked what its need was.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Kontrakt would let you know that it loves to see people behaving mindlessly.
Mm.
Right. And yeah, it likes to see people behaving mindlessly, likes to, you know, see people in that state being taken advantage of.
I also am a big fan of taking advantage of people who are behaving mindlessly. This is going to be just the best.
Okay, so you want to you know, I was just like thinking like how would you do this? Like, you know, another possibility would be trying to do something to take on ETT, right?
Mm-hmm.
That I'm trying to remember. Has a TT? Have you seen a TT?
No, I don't. Not that I know of.
Right.
I have not knowingly seen a TT.
Right.
I think actually a picture on a phone I was shown.
Yeah, I think that maybe I'd have to go back. I think that was like a couple sessions ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was told that a TT was Miss Magic by Smart Not Swift.
Right. Who never uses people's actual names.
Right.
Right. All right. So you want to? So do you want to do that? You want to try to persuade?
Contract that, there's better things in life. We could be a thing, and it would be way better than you and a TT.
I guess contract would say. I guess contract would just say, "Tell me more." What exactly would be in store for me?
Yeah, and so I probably spend like 45 minutes of that hour that I have telling Contract about basically my ever escalating pyramid scheme, if you will, of naive individuals, the contracts that they've signed that they never read, the timeshares that are practically meaningless, more of a liability than an asset, the confusion and the boosts of will that got them to just like ignorantly engage in these false futures.
Okay. So when you tell these stories, contract will occasionally, kind of quip in with, that was beautiful. Like when you kind of hit the punchline of one of these schemes.
Yeah.
You see, like with some of the juicier ones, you see the paper quivering and rustling, right, with delight, right, when it hears this. So let's. So with contract, I feel like this is going to be seems like it'd be a will roll, right? With the persuasion going on. And
that makes sense to me.
Yeah. And you also have that boost.
Yeah, I would like to use the boost if I can.
Mm-hmm. So I guess you call Hubert over while you're
Yeah.
doing this. Like Hubert's probably like, behind you saying, yeah, that's great, right? Kind of like, trying to, punctuate put exclamation points at certain points in your story, right?
Doing it very mindlessly.
Yeah, exactly.
Because Hubert himself has no idea, right, about
Yeah.
any of this. All right. So that gives the 5 plus you have your will. So that would be 10. And I mean, I like this, so I'll throw in another bonus die. And this would
I think it's great if it succeeds or it fails. This is just super juicy.
Yeah, I think, I was going to say if I don't think it's the case, contract is not he's not really opposed to the TT, but I don't know that he's, so it's just going to be, I think for him, just a flat will roll, and he has a will of 4. So let's go I'm going to clear this, and then I'll roll the 4. I did get a 10.
Wow.
Oh, did you? I think you rolled the wrong.
Oh, you know what? Those are the wrong shape.
Yeah, you need to.
Can I delete just these guys?
If you want to just roll a different color, that would be fine.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. I'll go blue. That'll be contrasted. And D10s, 11 of them. Hey, I can actually roll a 10 when it's a D10 instead of a D8.
Yeah. So when we set my 10 aside, and you end up having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh, really? Okay, so you go once you remove that pair, you keep counting.
Yeah, the one that you remove is really not even then considered anymore.
Got
right?
it. Yeah.
So, Yeah, so you have a number of victories there, and what I think we would say is I don't think this would be an instant rebellion, but
Right.
I think you have definitely planted seeds of discontent, right?
I got the number. I'm going to have a first date at some point.
So contract would say things like, clearly saying, what you say is appealing to me. I myself don't behave mindlessly. I like to watch others behave in that kind of fashion. And
Yes.
so, he'll say, you've given me much to think about.
Well, as have you given me much to think about. I look forward to next time we get to talk.
Yes. And I guess he would say, with that role, he'd say, yes, I'm looking forward to our next meeting. Hopefully that will be sooner rather than later.
Tell me, where is a TT?
Um, he would say she's around, but she doesn't like herself to take the spotlight.
Okay. Okay. I get it.
Okay. And is there anything else that you want?
Nope, I think that's good.
Okay. The club is still hopping. I think that the club, you've got the evening off to an early start, right, for the club. So
Yeah, I think I'm going to enjoy maybe another hour or two on the microphone. Zip does love the spotlight, and so he's just like all these youths with strange on in the background.
okay.
It's kind of weird, but whatever.
All right. And then let's go back to Jackson. So what would you like to do at this point?
So my plan is to go hook up with some of my friends from the clubs and see what I can figure out about these drugs I've taken. See what word on the street, word in the clubs is.
Yeah. So I know on the chart we had the Twist Dance Club.
Yep.
Okay. Tell me about that dance club. What kind of a club is this like? I mean, what like when you first walk into to Twist, what's the big first impression that you get? What do you see or notice that makes it a kind of distinctive place?
I think when you first walk in, you're faced with one of those like big bars that has all the bottles displayed colorfully along the walls, and just a lot of real kind of bright, upbeat decoration, and you can hear you can already hear the music from there's sort of subdued music in that room, but you can hear the main dance floor, which is you know, a couple rooms away. You can sort of hear and feel that as you walk in immediately.
Okay, and this is a club that you frequent, so
Yep.
you know people know you, people you know working there, and also just the you know the normal kind of clientele. And everybody says, "Hey, Jackson, how's it going?" And is it close to? Is it in close proximity to where the swanky neighborhood?
I don't think so. I think it's further down more on the southern end of South Beach.
Okay.
While I live in North Bay.
Mhm.
I believe that's what it's called.
Okay. And all right, so but you're comfortable there. You know, it seems like a normal evening at Twist. Everybody seems to be having a good time. They're happy to see you. And you know, you have friends there. I mean, you know, feel free to kind of tell me who you would want to talk to. I mean, and I think that, you know, if you're a regular there, you know, you have you know, friends that are there who you see on a regular basis, and I think it's a place where you'd also feel very comfortable with the you know, the workers there, right? The servers and such. I mean, this is kind of your stomping ground.
Yeah, so I'm going to search out, you know, someone I know who has always been a good source of drugs.
Okay.
And just, you know, once I get in a group with him or get him alone, just, you know, pull out the pills and say, you know, well, hey, friend of mine got these at Pink Flamingos. Said they're really great, but do you know anything about these?
Okay. Now what? Let's give this guy a name.
Sure.
Let's any suggestions or
Austin.
okay. Austin. He's at the Twist.
And he's slightly older than me, probably like 30s, and obviously parties way too much.
What would just in terms of Jackson's involvement with drugs? I mean, would Austin be surprised to see Jackson?
No.
Okay.
So, he is not an addict or anything, but by no means a teetotaler or you know, big avoider of anything.
Okay, so
except for he's not so much into like heroin or something, but fun party drugs, sure. You know.
Yeah, and you know Austin when he sees these says, "Whoa, those that's quite a color, right? I mean, it's this like bright fuchsia pink color, and you know, he picks one up and holds it up, gives it a kind of close look, and says, "Well, I don't know. I mean, it looks like a party drug, but I haven't come across anything quite this kind of flaming bright. But you know, if you want, I mean, I you know, I could give it to somebody who could tell us what exactly it is, or you know, you could always pop one yourself and see what what happens. I don't know if I want to do that myself. I mean, you're like unknown substance. I don't know. Where did you say you got these? At the
A friend of mine said he got them at the Pink Flamingos. You know that bar
Yeah.
with the weird gold ingot drinks, you know.
Yeah, well, I guess if it's the Pink Flamingos and they have pink pills there, yeah, it makes sense to me. That's so I'm imagining that Pink Flamingos, though, that's a little further up South Beach than where you are right now at Twist. So, Austin says I don't really myself hang out much up in that area, but yeah, I mean they certainly catch your eye.
Well, how long do you think it'd take to get them analyzed?
I don't know. I can't give them, tonight to my buddy, and but tomorrow he'd probably tell us something.
Sure. Sounds good. I think I'll follow your lead, and I mean, if you're not gonna down one, I'm not sure I want to either. So
Yeah, well, he gives you some story about he has experience, kind of taking stuff that he wasn't sure of, and sometimes
did I ever tell you about the time?
Yeah. He has times when that's been okay, but he's also kind of, you said he's a little older, so he's also had some pretty bad experiences too. So yeah, but yeah, he says I could give him to he's connected, right? So he says I could give him to somebody tonight, and probably tomorrow night we could have some info.
Sounds good. Thanks, man.
Okay.
And I'll buy him a drink and sort of go on my way then.
Okay. All right.
Maybe like hang out and see some friends and such, but don't spend the whole night there. So
okay. And yeah, so we can go on and cut that scene. Now to think of with James, I mean he's in terms of his wealth, I mean does he, I mean is he just independently wealthy, or does he have, do you imagine that James has some something that he normally has to do to, is he like an investor, or
that was my thought, is he works in let's say since commercial property isn't a usual thing for him, let's say he does wealth management for fairly wealthy clients and owns a firm that does this.
okay. Yeah, so the next time I would say that you see James, I think he's not quite as on edge as he was earlier when he was like, I really don't know about that deal, but he clearly still has some second thoughts about it, and I think it also would be fair for him to present the idea that maybe the two of you should go down to Pink Flamingos soon, the next day or two, just to kind of see it in action, right?
Sure.
It might be, he says it might be kind of fun, right? I'm the owner. I call up ahead, let the managers know, we they roll out the red carpet for me, no doubt, and it'd be kind of fun to see what this place, looks like, when it's has things really hopping.
out of character thinking to myself that he would rather not be connected to him, but I don't think he's got a good excuse for why not. So he'll be like, oh, sure, thinking they won't recognize me. Nobody got a good look at me.
Yeah, well, and yeah, whether they have security cameras, it would have, yeah. All right, so let's go back to Zip. And do you have any ideas as to like what
Yeah, so ideas. I think Zip has fallen in love with a contract. I think that he's just like on cloud nine, dreaming about the next time that he encounters contract. I think that the idea entered his mind that he needs to sever the tie between contract and it and
a TT?
yep, a TT. And some really bad thoughts entered his mind, and he was able to push out like the homicide thoughts and just kind of say, this just needs a little bit of time. Contract will come around. And so I think that's probably how Zip ends this evening, is just like totally enthralled with this new positive force in the universe. And wakes up the next morning like intent on learning everything he can about a TT and like where she could be, what she could be doing, trying to dig closer to contract for another opportunity to have a riveting conversation and incite a little bit of rebellion between contract and a TT.
Okay, now to conduct this, like, would you be like when you're kind of collecting information? Where would you do that? How would you go about that?
Yeah, that's a really the obvious first place that I go is to the computer, but I'm not really a computer person, so I know that the information I get from the computer is probably pretty worthless. And I do have these names, the Kingpin, Franz, Azir.
Yeah, Franz Azar.
Azar.
Yeah.
And I know that Atiti and Franz are related, at least like business wise.
And I think you also know that Franz, this kind of, he has like this criminal shadow, over him. But he's not from South Beach, right? He's kind of up in the
New York, something
New York, New
to do with
Jersey
New York.
area.
Yeah. If this was Call of Cthulhu, I'd be heading to the libraries. I don't know. How could one in this game do some sort of, because I'm a sorcerer, right? I've got sorceress powers. I should be able to create some sort of ritual thing that allows me to divinate where a TT is once I give up with the computer because computers are crap.
Yeah. Now, one Taylor has a demon with the hint ability.
Right. Yeah.
And that hint ability can be useful for something along these lines.
And I imagine Taylor just is not around this morning, right?
Right.
Yeah. Because I've seen Taylor work the computers and gathering information, and it's pretty spectacular. I don't understand it at all. Um,
I mean, you have. I'm also just thinking about your. You have Dr. Hornbuckle.
yeah. I could
now.
reach out to Dr. Hornbuckle. Not really mention the contract because I don't know how he'd feel about me binding the will of a contract spirit. I'll save that for another conversation, but definitely spill the beans on a TT and Franz and see what can Dr. Hornbuckle help me out with. What do you know, man?
So now, this is the leader of Success Now, which is your coven.
And I'm going to tell him about this amazing deal that I just struck. He has. Maybe he knows. I don't think he knows.
No, I don't think he does know. But I think when you tell him, he's like overjoyed, right? I mean, he's just like, man. I mean, when things are rolling, they are rolling, right?
And I'm also going to tell him about that noon party that I started. It's a new thing, noon on Wednesdays. No one had any idea. But man, the customers just came. It was great. It's everything that you taught me. You just believe and it happens.
Yeah, well, he's taking all this down, and he says, "Can we put some of this up on the website?"
Well, everything about me, absolutely. Anything that I'm trying to get some information on a TT and Franz, no, that's just between you and I.
All right. So what do you know about a TT and Franz at this point? And what I mean, sure, I'm more than happy to see what I can find out. But like, what are you interested in? Are they
somehow they're related with my property, and I need to understand more about that. They have some sort of a kind of shady, maybe businessy organization that they run out of New York. I think Franz kind of runs the operation, and a TT is like his guide or his prosperity coach. Yeah, and I just don't understand anything about what sort of leverage they have over the myth. So, man, I just need to know. Sit down and talk with a TT. I'd like to just understand more about what their intentions are. Makes sense? Do you understand what I'm saying?
I guess I don't really, off the top of my head, don't really know these people, but
but you know people who know people. If there's one thing you're really good at, it's finding the right people.
Well, that's one of like our core principles, right? Is those people connections are key, because you know people who themselves know people, and you've got this kind of, well, it's kind of like that web of success that's just getting like spun, and one connection may just be a single thread, may not seem like much, but you keep building those threads, and pretty soon you've got that web of success ready to catch the flies that you can then consume, right? It has this like whole like metaphor of like the web, and it gets crazy. But anyway, Yeah. So he says, yeah, I'll make some calls. I'll kind of. I know people over in that. You said the New York area.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. We got people over there. New York's a big place.
it is. Yeah.
Um, yeah. So I feel like so Hornbuckle is in your lore area with your coven.
Hmm.
So why don't we do this as a lore roll? I mean, kind
Okay.
of indirectly, right? It's kind of
Right.
indirectly going through Hornbuckle, and I'm gonna for the opposed side, um, go on and do that as a 4 die roll. Let's clear the like so many
That's a lot of
dice.
dice.
Yeah. All right. So what is your lore?
4.
All right. So it's going to be 4 versus 4.
D10. Ooh.
Close.
Yeah.
But all right. So Hornbuckle, at least on his initial foray, probably gets back to you after a few hours and says, well, I don't know that I got very much. I think it's curious that, Franz is somebody who has his anchor in that New York, New Jersey area. People say he's connected. He's clearly, well, he's not an entirely honest guy, but he knows who to pay. He knows how to keep his operations within a certain, limit of propriety, so that, right, he he knows he's been around for a while up there. Okay. And it is curious though, the South Beach connection.
Yeah. Super
Nope.
weird.
Yeah. So if you're picking up something, there, when I was asking people about, oh, what about Miami, South Beach, right? That they were all kind of surprised. They were saying, no, that doesn't really seem to be. And Ititi, one guy I talked to knew the name, knew that she was working with friends in some capacity, but I don't know. I did. He did give me a picture of her. He'll email you a picture of Ititi. She seems, the picture is of a kind of slight, a slight woman. Seems kind of short and thin, and she's she's not smiling for the camera.
Right.
She has this kind of grim look on her face.
Kind of expected that as I look at that picture.
Oh,
Yeah.
it'd probably be appropriate that, like, she's in the picture. She's holding a kind of short stack of documents in her hand.
It feels scandalous looking at it. It's like, oh man, there they are. Huh.
But Hornbuckle says, but look, I can keep asking, see what I can dig up.
Yeah. Keep digging a little bit. Let me know if you find anything. And all of a sudden, Zip remembers like the police chase and starts wondering, gee, what was that all about? So I imagine that that's pretty much what I got out of that thread of investigation.
I do want to say though that because I was asking like how you conduct the investigation.
Yeah.
Like I would say like I don't know like the next time you have do you live in a condo or you live in like one of your timeshares that
Yeah, I think I am staying. I've been here for a couple weeks, so I think I'm staying at like a furnished hotel that rents rooms by the month. So kind of condo-ish, except lower commitment because I just wandered in this direction recently.
So the next time you leave, like you have this conversation with Hornbuckle, what would it be for? Like, would you just be going out for some food, or what would be the next thing that would draw you out of the place you're staying at?
Yeah, I think it's going to be. I'm I had this one great deal, but that's not the last deal. So I think I'm heading out to meet with someone and talk about a timeshare. People are more interested now that I'm actually in the neighborhood of the timeshares and they can actually, like see the place, imagine themselves in the place. So it's like to go out and meet with a client.
Okay.
And or a potential client.
Do you have Hubert being your chaperone, like your chauffeur on this?
Yep.
Okay. So the next time you go out to do this, you do notice that car, that unmarked police car, trailing you again.
It's just going to keep happening, right? So if I tell Hubert, all right, pull over, let's see what they want. There's no point in avoiding this.
Okay. We'll pause that there. Let's go back to
and I'd like to recommend a 10-minute break.
Okay. Oh yeah. That's perfect. Yeah. Thanks for reminding me. So let's I'll come back at about be close to maybe 10:30.
Okay.
My time. Okay. Yeah. So let's do we'll do like a scene for Jackson and for Zip, and then we'll call it a night. So Greg, I was thinking with Jackson,
we're interested in where his story is going as well.
Yeah. If you wanted to, we could move ahead to the next day when you get the information on the pink drugs.
Sure.
But if there's anything you wanted to do in the meantime, that would be fine as well.
No, that's pretty much Jackson's plan.
Okay. And I feel like, okay, you're going to get some information regardless, but I was thinking maybe we will have you roll because this is with your connection at the Twist Dance Club, which is part of your cover. So why don't I have you roll your cover, and I'm going to have an opposed roll, and I think for this one it's going to have to be about a 4 dice opposed roll, a little bit more challenging. Your cover is what? Is it a 3?
It's a 3. Yep.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. So what you do get information out of this is Austin, correct? That he kind of comes back and he says, well, what my guy says is you know, he was able to isolate what's in this. He says it's mainly ecstasy, but it's laced with some other things. He says like he picked up a microdose of some LSD in there, and there's also some additional slight trace of an additional amphetamine in there, maybe to give it a boost or something. It's I mean, what you seem to have here is a kind of custom pill with somebody who's, you know, I don't know, you know, it's, my guy says it's not just experimenting, right? That the person who put this together seems to kind of have an idea of like the effect that they want, and it seems to be pretty good quality stuff. My guy, I mean, he kind of knows things around this area. He doesn't really know anybody. He's not aware of anybody pushing this particular pill. I mean, it seems kind of off his radar. He didn't really, you know, he was a little surprised to, you know, see that it was, you know, I told him it was coming from a place in South Beach. You know, I was being very general, right? But you know, he hadn't really run across this before. I mean, he's run across the drugs before, but not like this kind of special little cocktail going on in that pill.
Well, thanks for the information. Sounds like it might be some decent stuff, but kind of weird that you haven't heard of it before, huh?
Yeah,
And
but
just sort of you know, play it off as yeah, maybe, you know, maybe I'll take some later, but
yeah, well, and I, you know, I was thinking,
it
you
is
know,
unusual.
if you wanted to, you know, me to take some of those off your hands, you know, I could do that, right? You know, he kind of like pulls out his wallet with you know, his bills and says, you know, I'd be more than happy to take some of these off of your hands.
Oh, well, I don't really have a source for it. Like I said, one of my friends just gave them to me, said he had picked them up there.
Yeah. I mean, I'd be interested in having some of those.
Well, I'll see what I can do. Fully intending to not do anything because I like him.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Yeah. Sure. All right. So you have that information, and any ideas as to what Jackson would be pushing for after that?
Yeah, I don't know. It kind of going through his head that these seem to be like normal drugs, so maybe maybe just kind of go with that, but being stupid and impulsive, what he's probably going to do is ask around with his like go to the like Sorcerer's website that he knows. I mean, there's the one big one, and then there's kind of like some, you know, discussion forums and such that he knows people actually know stuff, and just kind of throw out a question there about has that anyone ever heard of making magic drugs.
Okay. Yeah, and you'd get some. I mean, I think that you definitely kind of get people like asking about. You would say, yeah, oh yeah, drugs and magic, right? They go. Some people say they go really well together. I mean, would you at that point want to give them like more, like if somebody was into this, would you give them like specific details about your pills?
I know I'd be more asking like, can you make drugs magic so that they have a different effect than they might normally?
I would say that the information you get from the most legitimate, what seem to be the most legitimate people, would be that there seem to be some quote unquote credible sources who say that the correct drugs can amplify magical effects, right? That they're, if you know what you're doing, and you know what you're doing both with the drugs and what you're doing with the magic, that right, you can use the correct drugs to turn up the volume or to make your magic more potent. That comes from, I don't know, somebody named Satan 72 or something. Yeah. Okay.
Sure.
All right. And Zip, when we left you had told Hubert to pull over because you saw this. Right. It's the unmarked police car that you kind of everybody driving on the road would instantly recognize it as like, oh, that's an unmarked police car, right?
Right.
With the smoked, windows and so Hubert pulls over and the unmarked police car pulls over. But it doesn't have its lights flashing or anything, right? So it
Right.
just kind of goes to the curb, and it sits there like somebody doesn't immediately get out. So I guess the question is like, would you just kind of continue to wait, or do you want to like have Hubert drive on, or would you get out of the car to like approach the?
Yeah, so after an uncomfortable period of time, I do get out of the car. I'm a little bit perturbed, a little bit upset. Walk up and knock on the driver's window, which is all blacked out and I can't see inside.
Yeah, and the window rolls down, and there's a woman there. And she kind of strikes you as like a plainclothes detective type, but very smart looking woman. She has short hair, a nice kind of suit that she's wearing, and
I couldn't help but notice that you've been following me a couple times. Can I help you?
oh, you she looks a little nervous, but she kind of puts herself together and says, yeah, so you're Zip, right?
Yeah.
Well, there's some questions I'd like to ask you.
All right. Do you have a warrant?
Uh, no, I don't have a warrant, but
Am
I'm just
am I in trouble with the law? Are you a law enforcement officer?
yes, I am a law enforcement officer, and she pulls out her badge, right, and her ID, so you can. Her name is Lyra Velton. Uh, and she says, I have an assignment that I've been on, and you know, they asked me to trail you a little bit to kind of see what you were up to. And I just have a few questions I'd like to ask you.
Sure. You want to join me at the what was that? The spicy and icy, icy
Yeah.
and spicy.
The icy and spicy. Yeah, is that where you're going right now?
Yeah, it wasn't, but now it is.
Yeah,
I don't tell her that part.
yeah, she'd agree to go with you to the icy and spicy, and says fine. I don't think it's particularly far from where you are right now, right? It's not a super long drive, right?
Right, yeah. I live pretty close to the icy and spicy, and I imagine she caught me pretty quick into the journey, so it should be a block or 3 away, who knows?
All right, so she will follow you to the icy and spicy. Um, she she sits down with you. Now let me ask, like with Zip, like what would Zip's biggest concern be in terms of legal matters, right? Like if there was a detective or somebody investigating Zip, what would be the thing that Zip would have foremost in his mind?
Yeah, so it has previously been established that Zip does not do legal contract very well. And so that's one of the reasons that contract is so appealing. It plays to a strength that Zip has a weakness in. And so his big concern is that something in some contract language somewhere is not on the up and up. And um, or that someone has some grievance for a contract that they regret signing at after being persuaded pretty heavily. And since she's with law enforcement and not like a private investigator, probably not the second one. So more leaning towards crap, there's something wrong with the legal framework. Don't know where this is going. Better get her to divulge some information with me just being smiley and happy and maybe having to cast a little confusion to keep her from getting the answers that she's looking for.
Okay. So Zip will be happy to know that, Lyra's lines of questioning really have nothing to do with any actual, illegal contract matter. She asked kind of questions about his, I mean, she does know that you come from Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
So she asks you some questions about Colorado, asks you some questions about, getting your appropriate licensing in Florida, which I would imagine Zip would have perfectly in order, right? Right, the kind of, those kind of licenses would be.
Right. It was part of the onboarding package with the pyramid scheme, so all that stuff is in order.
Yeah, and as this conversation develops, um, Lyra seems to be unhappy, frustrated, and at some point you will hear her mutter under her breath, like, I don't even know why. Well, under her breath, but also so that you know, clearly she knows that you would hear it.
Yeah.
Like she says, like, I don't know why I'm here. Like, I don't know, like why they want me to investigate you.
I mean, what are you looking for? Maybe if I know someone, maybe if I'm tangential to something that you're looking for, I can help.
Well, that's the thing. They didn't really let me know what I should be looking for, right? They just said investigate Zip. You know, find something.
Sorry, what department are you with?
She's with the now I have to kind of think about like who. I guess she would be with the Miami-Dade County. She would be with the Miami Police Department.
So some local matter, not anything to do with back home.
Yeah, it is
I mean,
definitely. Yeah,
I'll tell you, it sounds like a really hard investigation if they won't even tell you what you're looking for. How are you going to know if you see it?
yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's just fishing, right? I mean, they're just sending me here to go fishing for something, but I don't know. It seems like you check out. So I'm sorry. I took up your time. Hopefully you won't have to see me again. I'll just let them know that we had this conversation. Everything.
No
checked out.
problem. It was a pleasure speaking with you. Anytime you need anything, you know where to find me. Just one question. Who asked you to conduct this investigation?
Oh, and then she'll give you the name of her chief. Let's see. I think I had a name that I. She does give you the name of the police chief. Let's see if I have it.
I think that Taylor has gotten like 15 texts from me with little snippets of this information as it's going on.
Mhm. All right, I'm gonna have to. I think I had a name written down somewhere, but I'm not finding it right now. So let's give him. We'll give him the name. Um, well, I want to give him something that's not like super normal. We'll call him.
My brother's middle name is Alexander, but we always called him Xander, and that's
Oh, that'd be good. Yeah, yeah. Xander O'Malley. So Xander O'Malley is the name of the chief. She's clearly frustrated with it with the police chief, right? I mean, she kind of thinks that this is like, you know,
a waste of
well, a waste
time.
of time, and she's also confused as to why the police chief would have like picked, you know, why would he pick you, you know, to send me on this fishing expedition. anyway, good day. And you know, she gives you a card that has her name on it. And you know,
I give her a card and say if she's ever looking for real estate, hit me up. I've got some of the best deals in Miami.
she says, well, I don't know that I really make enough to be involved in real estate investing, but thanks.
Yeah, nice meeting you.
Yeah, so she makes her way out, and we'll have to see whether Lyra reappears at some point. But yeah, I mean, yeah, she seemed clearly frustrated, also kind of confused as to what this was about, right? That
Right.
the chief clearly had something in mind, but he was not really divulging, right? Why Zip would be a person of interest, or what exactly she should be looking for.
And from Zip's perspective, that's more concerning than if she knew what she was investigating.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Yeah. All right. So I think that's a good place to end. For next week, we'll be back at the same time. I'm hoping that as the GM, if I can hopefully kind of bring things to some type of satisfactory or at least some sense of conclusion, will be nice if we're able to achieve that next week.